Hey everyone, this is one of the small to medium-sized Arctic exploration themed sets for 2018, and contrary to current appearances from this angle right here, the crawler itself is a four-legged vehicle, not three-legged, so there's the other leg back there. And surprisingly, it's actually somewhat inspired by some real-life heavy equipment out there, some crawler cranes that have a major distinction. The real ones actually have their locomotion from Caterpillar tracks, and they just have large outriggers rather than walking legs. They have outriggers to hold the thing up and to give it support when it is stationary. So this actually has legs that move forward and back for locomotion. So the idea would be, let's see, how exactly would that work? I guess these would come forward, this would come forward, and it would kind of shift itself. I don't know. You kind of have to figure out how that works. But basically the idea is that it would be, these two would be like this, and then it would go like this, and then these two would go forward, and then they'd go like this. It doesn't really work that well for the sake of play. I mean, you can just kind of do like this and make it kind of feel like it's walking. But the major thing with these legs is that they are there for support, for stability. Surprisingly, the whole top of this does not spin around. I thought that it was going to have a turret on it, but it really doesn't. So you just get the legs or outriggers that are able to move in and out. They're also able to bend at kind of the knee, if you will, to get up a little bit taller like that, a little bit higher. And you can also bring it closer down to the ground like this. And you can do each leg independently to kind of put it on some uneven terrain, or you can make it angle down in one way if you want, whatever you want to do with that. But it does have its limitations for sure. And then you just have the grabber arm over here, which is, let me get this to be a little bit more straight, flat. There we go. Yeah, the grabber arm is just able to go up and down with each of these major joints here, so it's able to reach in fairly close, get all the way down to the ground. It also has this joint here, kind of a wrist joint there, which it goes up and down, and is able to spin around if you need to reorient the claws. And then that is able to move one finger at a time. Staying with the human anatomy analogy there, you can bring it down like this, you bring it up higher, you can bring the whole thing up, and it's just able to grab all sorts of stuff. And this is easy to modify if you have other pieces to kind of expand upon this idea, put other attachments on there. It can hold on to anything bar sized will work with this. So you can clip things onto the bar that's already there. You can push a bar into the clips that are already behind there with the black Technic piece. And yeah, this is all you get for what's included in the set, but it's kind of ready for some customization. They've got that helicopter style canopy here with just a single control stick, got a couple lights on the sides, one clip for an additional minifig accessory. One person sits in there, and that's just it. What they want you to try to do in this set is to find and pull out an ice block that has a preserved ancient animal in it. So you come up to the ice block and you grab it with the grabber tines like that, and it just picks it up. See, that actually works pretty well, and being able to rotate it like that is kind of cool. It's useful. I just wish that the whole thing was able to spin around more easily rather than you kind of using your external influence, huge figure hand, and turning the entire thing, picking the whole thing up. Kind of breaks the fantasy just a little bit when you're not able to spin this kind of on a turntable. The detailing of this is pretty basic. I mean, they tried to get some texture in here, which I appreciate. I appreciate the attempts. Not too many stickers were used here, but it does look and feel a little bit plain to me. This is good. A little bit of storage space back there. Might as well use that. That's a very good integration of that. This shaping here is pretty good. And the feet work out pretty nicely as well, because they're just able to go at whatever angle they need to stay flat. They are offset a little bit though, but that's perfectly fine. And then this ice block is one of the simpler ones in the series. You kind of have the part that it's buried in, and then this is the part that you're pulling out. That was not intentional there, but so when it's all together, it's like this, which looks fine. But once you pull this out, then it looks kind of man-made. And the idea is that you would have gone into this first before you bring in the heavy equipment and sliced the block, to determine what you want to actually pull out. And then it's still going to be a very large and heavy thing. I'm going to take that out as one single piece to then do finer work with it later. So this was supposed to be kind of covered. You imagine that this is all covered, and then eventually you'd be able to chop in there and get at the animal. Let's look more closely at that. Molded in dark tan, this is supposed to be some sort of rodent, so you can see it as just a rat. It looks pretty good with the eyes printed on there on either side. If you want to use your imagination a little bit, you could imagine this being something that looks rodent-like at first glance, but is actually an ancient marsupial of some sort, so you can kind of broaden the story a little bit. Or you just see this as being something fairly modern, and this will fit right into city scenes. Just has more detail than the traditional Lego rat, and is also a bit larger and different from the collectible minifigure series introduced new mouse for 2017-2018. There is only one single human minifigure in this set, and this is him here. I do like that headgear. Looks really good with the dual molded white and dark azure color. And this is one of the torso prints that's shared across this theme. Comes with the handheld circular saw for doing some of the finer work, or at least the initial prep work to separate out the block before you pick it up. And he also has a coffee mug so that he can have something warm to drink during his work. And underneath there, you probably recognize this face, and it does not have an alternate face on the back of that head. I like the ideas that LEGO tried with this set, but to be honest with you, it doesn't seem all that fun to me. It would have been so much more fun to actually use, to actually play with, or even just to pose on display if you could rotate the upper part of the hull around and actually, really move things from side to side. The legs work fine for posing for stability, like outriggers, like the real-life analog to this would do, but to actually simulate moving around is limiting, and not all that fun. Also, the look of these legs, so I like this here, I like that shape, I like that sticker, and I like what they've done for the pad and some of the texturing detailing on the side, but the upper parts of the legs look almost unfinished to me. Overall, I'm not that impressed by this set, to be honest with you. I think they could have done better, maybe even with something a little bit more traditional. Certainly the highlight of the set for me is the little animal. Can't win them all, I guess, but that does it for my thoughts about this set. Feel free to share your own comments, what you think about it, if you want to, and I'm going to keep working, bring you more videos, and talk to you again soon. Bye for now.